Gabrielle stood under a street lamp and rubbed a chill from her arms. She pivoted to look down both sides of the street, searching for any sign of the violence she had witnessed a few minutes before. Nothing. But then she heard it. The sound drifted from a narrow alley to her right, flanked by a concrete shoulder-high wall that acted as an acoustic aid. The almost lightless walkway betrayed its occupants, whose faint, animal-like grunts carried out to the street. Gabrielle could not place the sick, wet sounds that froze her blood in her veins and tripped off instinctual alarms in every nerve in her body. Her feet were moving, not away from the source of those disturbing sounds, but toward it. Her cell phone was like a brick in her hand. She was holding her breath. She didn't realize she wasn't breathing until she had walked a couple of paces into the alleyway and her gaze had settled on a group of figures up ahead. The thugs in leather and sunglasses. They were crouched down on their hands and knees, pawing at something, tearing at it. In the scant light from the street, Gabrielle glimpsed a tattered scrap of fabric lying near the carnage. It was the punker's tank top, shredded and stained. Gabrielle's finger, poised over the redial button of her cell phone, came down silently onto the tiny key. There was a quiet trill on the other end. Then the police dispatcher's voice shattered the night-like cannon fire. 911, what is your emergency? One of the bikers swung his head around at the sudden disturbance. Feral, hate-filled eyes pinned Gabrielle like daggers where she stood. His face was bloody, slick with gore. And his teeth. They were sharp like an animal's. Not teeth at all, but fangs that he bared to her as he opened his mouth and hissed a terrible-sounding foreign word. 911, said the dispatcher once again. Please state your emergency. Gabrielle couldn't speak. She was so shaken she could hardly breathe. She brought the cell phone up to her mouth but could not make her throat form words. Her call for help was wasted. Knowing this with a certain bone-deep dread, Gabrielle did the only logical thing that came to her. With trembling fingers, she turned the device toward the gang of sadistic bikers and clicked the image capture button. A small flash lit up the alley. They all turned toward her now, raising their hands to shield their sunglass-shaded eyes.